Yeah, we're going to talk about flow of money. Gabe had a good idea to really bring this session to everybody, an understanding. What we're seeing today is an enormous amount of money flowing into crypto space. So Gabe had a great idea of talking about flow of money into crypto. And so three of us come from very different backgrounds. And we'll just touch upon our backgrounds very, very quickly and get into the conversation of the flow of money. So Gabe, you want to start with your background?
Yeah, sure. I think it's important to relate that background to that flow of money that we've seen over the years. From coming as a university student in 2010, who was mining Bitcoin as an experiment on his university laptop, to starting a GPU mining farm in Trinidad and Tobago, all the way up to launching various businesses in the crypto space. And the relevance is, we didn't start to see any sort of anyone talking about the word investment in this space until late 2012, 2013. Prior to that, it was cyberpunks, NetSec, security majors, maybe the edge markets. And then outside of that, it would have been your illicit markets. But around the 2013 mark, it's when the Max Kaisers and these guys started to talk about this industry. And we started a bit of flow of the cash of the frontier few of the free market movers. And I'd say, by 2016, I was at a company that I founded, and I was a CEO of a CBDC company called Bitt. And I remember in the 2015 to 2016 areas when we started seeing the $10 million and larger checks coming out. And that's around the time we at Bitt got a $16 million check from Overstock or Phase Promise. And I would say that over the years, that has grown by a magnificent factor every single year, where the type of investor, the size of the investor, and the quality of the investor has substantially and continues to substantially increase year after year. And I think that's important when looking at the history of this space, rather than, oh, I did this and I built this and I was at this company. It's rather what I got to see as I went along that journey.
Yeah, great. I'll go next in terms of seeing that. What I've seen, I think, in the space in terms of flow of money, and I think that's a great point of what I've, as you said, Gabe, not what we've built, but just being in Africa, seeing this space from that side, in Africa and Latin America in early 2000s, and then getting involved in the space about that time around 11 and 12, where I saw that there was no word of investment, right? It was just you're giving money to certain things that you think would, maybe pop up left and right, but you kind of saw probability of this. From my perspective, I saw it from a payments industry in these markets. And then being part of these also large organizations where I catalyze things at GE to use the blockchain, to really think about money transmission, and to actually use excess electricity to mine Bitcoin, to go to, as you said, Gabe, to nerds like you, right? And to say, hey, here's the excess electricity of these engines that they produce. Can we do something here? But today is a completely different story. And I think Alon will touch upon that a little bit. But what you see today is just institutional investors coming in and corporate treasuries buying crypto and being interested, perpetuals being launched, right? And it is just in a matter of 10 years, we've seen a exponential growth all over the place. And so I think that's when I step back and I look at it, I feel like it was hundreds of years ago when we got involved. But today you see all kinds of permutations and programmable ways that you can structure certain products and services in financial industry and in other technology products. So I think it's just been a fascinating journey to see. How about you, Alon?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting to be on the call with both of you guys, because you've been a part of it for so long. I think my original, my background is as a techie, and I started a couple fintech type of startups. And at one of them, we powered sort of crowdfunding, microfinance, and online investing sites. And we heard about crypto and blockchain, and we had powered the first version of Boost VC, Adam Draper's accelerator, when it was more of a crowdfunding site than an accelerator. And so in our office, we built a mining rig because we were like, we're gonna see if this Bitcoin thing could be used for microfinance and micropayments and stuff like that, so that we wouldn't have to pay Visa and stuff like that. And very quickly, we're like, well, one, our landlord basically threatened to kick us out of the building for using so much electricity. And then the second part was that we just didn't think it was ready for mainstream, and we couldn't use it on our platform for any of our clients. So I sat more at the sidelines and sort of cheered on this new industry, but didn't really participate that much until later. And now, though, what's really cool about the maturing of the industry is that, all of these startups, companies like Gabriel's and companies like yours, Maja, now are getting so mature that the part of me that's obsessed with early stage startups can invest in companies that are building this industry up. Either they're building on top of it, they're building for it, they're doing things like that. So my sort of niche in this space, from a professional standpoint, at least personally, goof around with everything, but from a professional standpoint, Draper Gorn Holm invests in early stage startups. So we constantly are using our platform, which is our weekly events and going to amazing events like BTC Miami, and meeting the best companies and the best founders in the space and investing in them, and getting to hang out, like, as you guys can attest to, as you guys are a part of that, is when I got into this space, showing up at conferences like BTC Miami or anything like that, you'd get in a room with people and you were like, I've never been in a room with smarter people in my life. And like, if you're an investor or you like investing in early stage startups, like, you'd be insane not to participate in that.
Not just smart, but interesting and wild and crazy and different. And each one of them is a character in of itself. And I think that's a really interesting point about what BTC Miami pulled off in the early days. I remember I've been going to every single one since its launch, and I remember the beginning ones were just guys with cardboard cutouts with handwritten Bitcoin sold here on the cardboard, with a clunky GPU mining rig on a desk, and maybe like 30 people in a room, and that was the birth of this industry. And if you stood in that room back then, you would have discounted every single one of those people as crazies, right?
So one of the things that I'm just thinking about now, as for our audience for this video, right? As I think of this conference, as Alon mentioned earlier, was supposed to happen in person in Miami, right? Yet we're having this discussion online. But when you think about it, what's happening in Miami now? You have so many banks and tech firms and these entrepreneurs moving to Miami, becoming a little bit of a Southern, Silicon Valley place in a sense. And that talk about that movement of money and then movement into crypto, which I think it's really interesting. Maybe a question for us to ponder is, where do we see kind of this 2021 take crypto next in terms of movement of money? What are the types of projects and areas that are going to receive the most amount of money in development, and where we're going to see the most progress? I think in terms of what I'm doing and the company I'm advising, Viginex, that we've taken public, as I've said, we're the only SEC regulated digital platform. The second one is going to be Coinbase. For us, we've seen massive amount of interest from institutional investors. Banks who are interested to learn, people that are interested making money on perpetuals and options, people are interested in predictive analytics. They want to understand programmable money and remittances. they want to understand how banking in general is going to change. So this massive influx of questions in that. So do you guys see similar, or do you see, for example, a whole different side of DeFi that is just going to boom, and what kind of boom are we going to see there? Or is it going to be like together? I'm thinking.
Alon, do you want to take a stab first, and then I'll go after?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's definitely like these different angles, right? And I even, when I'm pitching our fund, I'll throw my hands up like this, and I'll be like, there's DeFi on one side, and there's sort of digital securities on the other side. And I say, you know, DeFi is going like this with regulations, right? It's completely trying to circumvent them and just do the most efficient thing. And the digital securities, or the more regulated side, hits them head on and uses technology, you know, to get over those hurdles and make it easier for investors and participants and companies to work in it. So I think there's both sides of that spectrum, is really, really crazy exciting right now. And, you know, and there's different types of money going after each one. As we know, we've been screaming things like the institutions are coming for years and years now, and they're finally here. And it's a weird double-edged sword, because we are all the misfits and weirdos who came into this industry probably because we didn't like the institutions. So you know, we have to you know, reconcile the fact that if the institutions are coming, is if they get anywhere closer to where we are on the decentralized Bitcoin side of everything, then they're making the products better for the rest of the world, right? So they're going to have to compete or die eventually. So when you mention Miami, it's a perfect example of the fact that, like, we're a global world now. We're virtual. We just spent the last year pretty much only online, and you know, it's this industry is made for that, right? It's a virtual and digital industry. So I think, you know, wherever anyone is in the world, they'll be able to participate, and I think Miami is just showing people now, like, hey, in this virtual world, where you don't have to be in an office, don't you want a background similar to Gabriel's when you're working every day? Or do you want to be, you know, in the snow? You know, you pick.
It's very true. Look, I think the investment flows in all categories of crypto are accelerated at this stage. I think it's retail's picked up. There's much more of audience coverage around the retail side. Institutional investors have arrived. I mean, the obvious things that we're going to see, the writings on the wall, is an increased investment in monetary authorities utilizing the technology in CBDCs, and increased investment in the licensed financial institutions turning on to more digital asset offerings, such as collateralized crypto lending, or taking on cryptocurrencies for the ability to custody, or even offering their own variant of a stable coin. I think it's quite obvious we're going to see more exchange points and ability to convert asset types happen in developing and furthering and developing in developed nations. I think the unobvious one that we're still unsure about is, at what point do we see a top 10 by market cap enterprise enter this arena, a Google, an Apple, one of these characters coming in and truly bringing out a revolutionary product that's just not another remake of a plastic-based credit card, like an Apple Pay type of environment with a sponsored bank in the background, but actually coming at this market from a head-on perspective in a similar way that Libra did it. I think what's not obvious is we're seeing the institutional investors, we're seeing the retail investors, but at what point do we see the monetary authorities and the governments become the holders as they take Bitcoin into their reserve accounts? I think what's not obvious is, at what point do all facets of governance become appended and modified by this movement of decentralization, whether that's do I actually need representative democracy and a hierarchical government, or can I use a DAO type structure? These are the unobvious flows of investment that I can't answer, but the obvious ones, the writings on the wall, You can just go and look online. Everyone's loud and clear about where this market's going. And as for
the future of sort of digital jurisdictions.
Yeah, and as for, you know, one big argument of why Miami works so well is I coming from someone who lives in a sunny island of Barbados, the reason that persons like myself choose to be here is because I could be in the internet world and my environment is consistently beautiful year round. And that's a higher lifestyle for me. And Miami within the United States offers that. You know, they give you that perk of having year round consistent, beautiful weather while being able to be an online servant of the internet.
Cool. You guys have more questions, or should we, like, I don't know, Mo can probably cut it off here. Or is there anything?
I think we're good there.
I think we're good.
Right?
Yeah.
Do we say
but let's keep this going though. I'm gonna stop recording. But